Ancestors' Wrath is an Iron-Haired champion of unflinching resolve. Their armour is adorned with golden knotwork, the iconic stag crest above its head and the stylized shield is as sturdy as this champion. This battering ram of a kin should not be taken lightly in battle. In this video, we'll be painting the Ancestors' Wrath to battle ready. Then we'll add a few extra colours and details to take our model to the next level. The paints that we'll be using are on the screen right now. We also have a list of the additional equipment we've used, but you can use whatever brushes you feel most comfortable with. If you're new to painting or want to brush up on your skills, you can check out the Citadel Colour Painting Essentials videos to learn all about paints and techniques. For our champion, we'll undercoat them in Chaos Black. This is a nice, solid dark undercoat, ready for all of the colours we'll be using, especially for the metal and black details. So let's get painting. We'll start the armour off with a couple of thin coats of Sons of Horus Green. This colour may be a layer paint, but we still need to treat it in the same way as a base paint, by thinning it down a little with some water before applying. As there are some flat panels, we'll use a medium base brush so we can cover quickly with less brush strokes visible. As we are covering over our black undercoat, 3 coats should be plenty. Just make sure you have a smooth, solid finish before we move on to our next colour. Then we'll apply Celia Green shade over the armour with a medium shade brush. We're doing this now as we don't want to get any of this shade on our other colours and is more efficient this way. We want to apply a good amount to the armour, but move it around so we get all of those recesses covered. This also helps us avoid making the shade pool too heavily in some areas that we need to be lighter. Just keep correcting the pooling as you go around the model whilst it's still wet. Now we'll use Corvus Black for all our black details, such as the weapon casing, shield, piping and the mass drivers around the back of the armour. Just be careful of the armour that we just painted, but you could always tidy up after with the last few paints if you do make a mistake. With that black stage dry, we can move on to Iron Hand Steel. We'll use this for the hammerhead, gun barrel inside the shield and the top of the mass drivers. You can also use this to paint the rivets on the armour, but this is a small detail, so you don't have to do it if you want to save time. Now we'll apply Brass Scorpion for our armour and shield knotwork, hammer details and the iconic stag crest. We'll apply a couple of coats of this colour with a small layer brush, as these details are surrounded by colours we just painted and can be quite small too. So just take your time and you can tidy up if you do make any small smudges. When you're finished with your metallic paints, now is the time to change that paint water, so we avoid getting any metallic flakes into the rest of our colours. With our paint water changed, we can continue painting. And we'll use corn red for the tassel and leather details, such as the suit padding around the head, hammer handle and strap. Use a small layer brush for these details, especially the padding around the head and the back of the armour, as these are in a really tight area, so take your time and keep those layers thin and build up the colour. Now we can paint the face with Kislev Flesh. This is a layer paint, so we'll need a couple of thin coats to fully cover smoothly over that black undercoat. This skin tone matches the box art, but you can pick any skin tone you want for your champion. Some other great colours are Bugman's Glow, Catachan Flesh and Bloodreaver Flesh. Then we'll quickly paint the hair with Mournfang Brown. This gives us a rich, light brown tone, so any shading later on will still give us some brighter raised areas. Just like with our skin, you can pick any different hair colour to complement the skin tone. You could have grey seer hair for an older kin, or even something colourful or bright like Jaquero Orange. Now we have all our base coats on our champion, we'll paint the stone base with Rakkar Flesh. We'll apply a couple of coats as normal, but try and avoid the feet and the shield if possible. If you're struggling with a small base brush, you can always go down to a small layer brush to help. Now we can start shading our details. For the skin and brass, we'll use Reikland Flesh shade with a small layer brush, so we can get into all of those small recesses easily. When it comes to applying it to the skin, we want to make sure around the eye sockets are shaded, but not too heavily, so we have a balance of skin and shadow. With the brass, make sure you get every knot covered, avoiding the green armour. Then we can use Nuln Oil for the Corvus Black, Iron Hand Steel, Rakkar Flesh and Corn Red details. Just be careful to avoid the armour at this stage, and move that shade around if it starts to pool. You can even remove some with a clean brush to help. With that last paint, our Ancestors' Wrath is now battle ready. You can stop here if you're happy with your model, or you can carry on with these extra steps so we can take our model to the next level. For our black details, we'll highlight this colour with Fenrisian Grey. We'll make sure that our paint is thin and our brush is pointed. We can do this by rolling the brush and twisting it on our palette. We can also control how much paint we have on the brush when we do this. Then pick out those edges and details. You don't have to do all of them, just pick out those really solid and pronounced lines. The shield is a large and bold part of this model, so this area is great to highlight the most. Then we'll highlight the armour panels with iron rack skin. We only want to hit the edges and sharpest lines with this colour, as it's quite strong and stark against the green, but it really makes that armour stand out in your army. You can even add the stripe on the shoulder pad if you're applying any transfers for your league. To make that brass a bit brighter, we'll add some Conaptec alloy to the stag's antlers and any raised areas of the knotwork. Just keep that paint thin and flowing on your brush, and you'll be highlighted in no time at all. If you want to make that skin stand out a bit more, we can define the brow and cheeks with our Kislev flesh again. We only need a little bit to bring out those details from the shade we just applied. And to finish off our model, we'll highlight the Corn Red and Mornfang Brown with Scrag Brown. This just makes these details pop with a lighter warm brown, and really makes that hair look fiery. And with those extra details done, our Ancestors' Wrath is now complete. May they honour the ancestors and protect their fellow kin in battle. You can see the base is finished in Astra Granite, and if you'd like to learn more about basing your models, we have videos all about it. For more tutorials, tips and tricks, check out citadelcolour.com or head to your local Warhammer store where our amazing staff will be happy to help you. Well, we hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see you next time. Bye bye!